Now that we have a school year, terms, and grading period set up, it's time to set up users. With the admin solution, inputting users is done through CSV uploading. You will need to successfully upload teachers, students, class lists, and enrollment CSVs into the system to be most successful. Data syncing is how your school integrates your data into Chalk from your SIS to make onboarding easy. In order to save time, instead of manually inputting your data individually, you are able to sync your information at the frequency of your choice with 4 different CSV files: Teacher CSV, Student CSV, Classes CSV, and Enrollment CSV. The reason to upload your teacher data through CSV syncing is to identify each of your teachers and to create an account for them in our system. Once accounts are created, emails will go out to the teachers on the list to log into their new Chalk accounts. In the CSV file, you will need to include 4 categories of data. Teacher ID and email are required fields. Teacher ID is a unique code or number to identify an individual teacher. Email is the email account that will be attached to the teacher's Chalk account. They will use it to log in and receive all notifications. First and last names are the optional fields within this CSV. Your CSV will look like this when it is finished. Next, you will want to move on to creating your student CSV. The reason to upload your student data through CSV syncing is to identify each of your students for the upcoming school year. There are 6 different categories in the student data CSV file. The required fields are the student ID and their first and last name. Student ID is a unique number or code to identify each of the students. We'll now go over the optional fields. Grade level. This is the current grade for the student. This is required in order to group by grade level when generating student progress reports as an administrator. Email. The student's school email address is an optional field, but is required for student access. Guardian email. Guardian email addresses for each guardian to access their child's grades for guardian accounts. There is no limit on the number of guardian accounts that can be connected. Simply add more columns with the guardian email header to include additional accounts connected to a student. Note that this is required to set up guardian accounts. Your CSV file should look something like this when it's finished. Next, you'll want to create your class list CSV. The class list CSV is to identify and assign each teacher to their individual classes that they will be teaching in the upcoming school year. In the class list data CSV, there are 6 different categories, 3 of them are required. Class ID is a unique number or code to identify each individual section that will be taught. This is a required field in the CSV file. Class name. The name or title of each class as you want it to appear on your teacher's account. This is also a required field. Teacher ID, a unique number or code to identify each individual teacher. This will be the same teacher ID as you assign to your teachers through your teacher data CSV. This is also a required CSV file. The optional fields are the subject ID, reporting class, and term ID. Subject ID is a unique number or code to identify each individual subject. Only include subject ID if you have multiple sections of the same subject, same grade, and same teacher. Reporting class. This is a true or false value and helps when printing student reports as an administrator for the whole school. It works similarly to grade level, which is found on the student CSV. Instead of grouping by grade level, you can group by reporting class, which groups students' reports by all classes that have true value here. True means that you do want a report printed, while false means that this will not print a report. Term ID. This is the ID that you gave your terms when setting them up through your marking periods. This is an optional column if you did not set up terms. Your CSV should look something like this. Now you're ready to create your enrollment CSV. The function of the enrollment CSV is to identify each of the classes your students will be enrolled in for the school year. There are 2 required fields. Class ID is a unique number or code to identify each individual class that will be taught. This is the required slot, and the class ID should be the same one assigned in the class list CSV. Student ID is a unique code or number identifying each student. This is required and should be the same one assigned in the student CSV. The optional field within enrollment CSV is archived, which is a true or false slot which is used to update existing enrollment. If marked true, it archives the student from this class. If marked false, it means the student is enrolled in this class. When left blank, the default is false. Your CSV should look something like this when done. Now that you have all 4 CSVs ready to go, it's time to upload them. Select Sync from the left-hand menu or the right tab, depending on your admin preferences. We always recommend uploading all 4 CSV files at the same time through the Import CSV button. Make sure your CSV files are properly titled to include their function. For example, your teacher information should have the word teacher in it. Students should have the word students in it. Class list, class lists. And finally, enrollment should have enrollment in it. A common naming convention is your school name - students, school name - teachers, and so on. Once you've clicked Import CSV, you will then see a loading bar to let you know how far along each of the uploads are. Once completed, the last update date will show today's date and time. If there are any errors in your CSV, you will see a red X. Once this is completed, your teachers, students, class lists, and enrollments are ready to go in Chalk.